loves, it's Angie B and welcome back to my channel. And in this video I'm going to be showing you this glowy golden bronzy makeup tutorial. I know I haven't filmed a makeup tutorial in a while. I think I was just like in a little bit of a funk, but now I'm back. I'm ready and better. Like, you see this glow though, like, I'm so in love with this makeup, guys. If you guys would like to know exactly how I got this makeup tutorial, step by step and very detailed, then make sure you stay and watch till the end of this video. So before we get into the video, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Angelica, aka Angie B. You are welcome to subscribe and also hit the little bell icon. They're both linked right down there below, and that just ensures that you guys get notifications every single time I post. Also, if you'd like to see what I get up to in my daily life, because when I'm not on YouTube, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. You guys can DM me, ask me whatever you want. I'm always available on my social medias. I will put the names up here. It is Angie B with 3 underscores. I'll also link them in the description box below, as well as every single product that I'm using in this video. So driving straight into the tutorial, I'm starting with this hyaluronic acid spray from Makeup Revolution, and I'm just spritzing this all over my face. Once that dried down, I used this YSL Touche Éclat primer. It is my favorite primer. I concentrated in all the areas where I have either fine lines or pores. As you can see, that's mostly my T-zone. Then I also go in with the Maybelline Baby Skin just around the nose and where I have the biggest pores as well, which is more of the sides of my nose and then my forehead, I mean. Then to highlight my skin and just make sure my foundation looks very nice and dewy, I'm using this Maybelline highlighter stick and putting it on all the high points of my face, as you can see. And then I'm moving on to color correcting. This is from Barry M, their color corrector in terracotta, I believe. I'll list everything in the description box below. And I'm putting this where I have any discoloration, which is mostly all around my mouth, sides of my nose, and just a little bit under my eyes. Now you want to be quite light-handed with this because it's quite a dark color. It blends out really nice and light, but if you put too much, like, you don't want to be looking orange. So I buff that out with the brush. As you can see, it's like I'm pushing it in and then just buffing out the edges with a really light hand, and I do this over all the areas. Underneath my eyes, I first tap with my finger just to push the product in and make sure it doesn't move around too much. And I just buffed around the edges again with the brush, wiped it off, and now for foundation, I'm using my 2 favorite foundation. It creates my perfect match. The MAC Face and Body in C7 and also the Wet n Wild foundation in caramel. Then I put 2 drops of that High Glow face oil. It's just a nice like tan kind of color, doesn't deposit too much color. And as you can see, I put the foundation on the back of my hand, and I'm going very lightly with the brush all over my skin. It almost looks like I'm not putting anything on, and this is the kind of coverage I was going for. As you can see, this side looks nice and covered and just more even than this one, rather than full coverage. I will cover any areas that I feel like need a bit more coverage with concealer, so this is all I'm doing, and taking it down my neck and on my ears. And now for concealers, I'm using those 2. The first one I'm using is the Makeup Revolution concealer. This is my favorite concealer of all time. It is in the color C12, and I'm using this under my eyes, on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, around all the areas where we put the color before the color correction, and I will just blend that out with a damp beauty blender. Well, a beauty sponge from Eco Tools. Sorry, this is my favorite sponge. I like it better than the Real Technique one. It's just so nice and soft, and it just blends my concealer so nice and seamless. And I use it for foundation as well sometimes. So as you can see, I'm just blending that in. I'm not moving it too far down or outward. I'm trying to concentrate it all in the same place, and then I put whatever excess is left on my eyelids just to prime them for when we do eyeshadow later. And now to just add a little bit more brightness, I'm adding the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the color 25, I believe. And I'm putting it on the high points of my face as well. And this one I used much less than the other concealer because I'm just using this one to brighten up a little bit. Now I'm taking this Makeup Revolution contour stick in the color C14, F14. It is actually a foundation stick. I use it to contour. It's not matte. It's a dewy finish. So if you have oily skin, I don't know if you like this, but I love this to contour. It is slightly on the ashy side. So I actually want to get C13, but for some reason, I just don't manage to get it. Like, it's always out of stock. So yeah, this one is a little bit more on the cool side, and F13 is more on the warm side. So I just use the stippling brush and blend everything in evenly all around my face. And you always want to blend upwards. You don't want to blend anything downwards. You're not trying to bring anything down. So always blend your contour or bronzer up. So as you can see, when I'm blending it down my neck, I'm not taking it up to my face. It's literally almost all under my neck. And then I'm using the same brush I used to buff out my concealer, just to make sure everything blends nice and seamlessly together. And now we're taking more of that same Maybelline highlight just to put a little bit over again to add a little bit more of the dewiness. You can see the difference on both sides. It looks pretty dewy because of the mix of foundations, but this just adds that extra little pop. Now for blush, I'm using this cream blush from e.l.f. I love this blush. Also, I'm looking for a nice cream peachy blush. I think I saw one the other day online and I just can't remember what it is, but this blush is really, really nice. I really like it. And I use the same foundation brush just to put it on my cheeks, and then I just swipe the excess on my forehead and on my nose just to look a little bit more sun-kissed. And now for my brows, I'm just brushing them out with a spoolie, and I'm using this random, it says black opal, but it's not. Like, I just got it from a Chinese store. They just literally write anything, Huda, black opal, whatever. I don't really care. I just make sure it's nice and sharpened, and I do the front of my brows on both sides first while it's nice and sharp. And then I go on and proceed to filling the rest of my brows. I actually really like how they turned out, and this is like the cheapest pencil you can find. It's like $50. So I just brushed all the product through my brows again. Then I went under with, sorry I did not show it, but it's the same foundation that I used to contour, but in the color C12 to clean up my brows. And now to set my concealer, I'm using this e.l.f. highlighter brush with my Makeup Revolution setting powder in the color Banana. I love this powder because it also adds a little bit of coverage. It doesn't have flashback, and it just sits on the skin so well. I promise this video is not sponsored by Makeup Revolution. I just love their products. And now to contour, or more like bronze, I'm using this palette from Wet n Wild, and I'm just using that darker color. I believe this is in the color Caramel Cafe. If I'm wrong, you see it in the description box below. And now I'm using the iconic Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And this is very light, as you can see. Like, for my skin, you can barely see it, but I like to use it to buff out my bronzer and make everything seamless. And now for eyeshadow, I'm using that Revolution Pro palette. I can't remember what it is, but it's one of like the 35 mattes or something. I'll try and find it and link it below. So I just used that mustard shade in my crease. We'll only be using 2 colors for our eyes today. So after the mustard shade, I took that NYX Pearl Shimmer in the color Mink. I'm in love with this, and it lasts forever. I just wet my little eyeshadow brush there, and I'm just putting this all over the lid and making sort of a cut crease, just because it's so foiled and so shiny that I don't have to like put a base down. It literally just creates itself. And then to smooth out the edges, I just take the same eyeshadow I used before. And now I'm taking those two like very warm brown and just regular dark brown to sort of line my eyes. And I wanted to only use this as an eyeliner, but it just wasn't dark enough for me. So I took this LA Girl. It's actually a lip liner. And I don't know, it got kind of dry, but I managed to make it work. And I just did like a thick sort of half wing. Not really thick, just slightly thicker than an everyday wing. And that's what it looks like. Then I went ahead and tight lined my eyes before I almost poked them out. But yeah, like, I'm used to doing it. I tight line my eyes all the time. Then I use that L'Oreal Carbon Black mascara. I love this mascara. And I just wanted some natural lashes, so I used the Ardell Demi Wispies. And then I went ahead and lined my lower lashes with the same 2 shadows I used to try and make the initial wing. And I just put this on my bottom lashes and then lined just about halfway with that same Ardell pencil. And then for the inner corners of my eyes and about halfway inward, I'm using this Essence Gold eyeliner, and it is really nice and creamy. And for the inner corners, I'm using this Wet n Wild highlighter in the shade Precious Petals, and it's a very bright like champagne gold, but it's not too light where it looks like pearly. So I put that only on the inner corners and down the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose and my cupid's bow and my brows, my brow bone. This is a nice light highlight, but it's kind of, if you're going for sort of a natural look, it's a little bit too bright for my cheeks, for my cheekbones. So then I just went ahead and put a little bit of mascara on my lower lashes, and then right now I'm just contouring my nose using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer because I don't like a contour that's too dark. And now for highlight, I'm taking my favorite highlighter. The lid broke, but whatever, I use it every day. It's the Maybelline highlighter in the color Molten Gold. This is like one of my favorite highlighters of all time. It's such a beautiful gold. And I just use this on all the high points of my face. Basically where I put all the cream highlighter is where I'm going to put this highlighter. And then just to tone it down a little bit and blend it in, I went over with my beauty sponge. And for blush, I'm using this Revolutuion blush palette, and those two top shades are my favorite two colors, very orange and a mauvey pink. I mixed them together and just put this on my cheekbones, blending in with my highlight and contour. Then for a little additional bronze, I went in my Carly Bible palette, and I just used that bronze shade and used it on the blush brush and put it very lightly. Be careful because it's very pigmented. Then I went all over my face with this huge Real Techniques brush. It's a powder brush and there's nothing on it. It's completely clean. And now to line my lips, I'm using this smudge eyeliner in the color Natural. And a dupe for this is the Milani Most Natural. I think this brand is only available in South Africa, which is why I'm giving you the dupe. Milani Most Natural, I had that the one time I found it here, and it's exactly the same shade as that. Then for lipstick, I'm using this liquid lipstick from NYX. I love this lipstick. It's my favorite liquid lipstick, and it's the color London. I didn't end up using the other one, but it was the color Stockholm. Then I went over with the same brown pencil I used on my eyebrows and just went over my lips very slightly just to add a little bit more definition. Then for lip gloss, I'm using this lip gloss from MAC in the color Nice Buzz, and I go mostly over the center of my lips and just drag it out a little bit to the edges. Then I went ahead and highlighted my collarbone. I used the same NYX shimmer I used on my eyelids. And I popped a little bit of the extra back onto my cheeks, on my cheekbones, down my nose, basically everywhere where I highlighted. I wouldn't use this much highlighter if I was going out during the day, but when I want to be extra, you know, I just set that down with my favorite setting spray from Makeup Revolution. It's a hyaluronic acid infused one, and yeah. And as you can see, this is the finished look. I'm in love with how it turned out. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell icon if you didn't in the beginning. If you'd like to suggest any other kind of makeup looks or any other kind of tutorials that you'd like to see in the future, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. Also, one last thing I forgot to say, if you guys are interested in knowing how I made this wig, I made it myself, then just look in the right here. I'll put the link there and also in the description box below so you guys can see the video on how I made this wig. It's very beginner friendly, very detailed, so I hope you enjoy that video if you're interested in that. If you guys recreate this look on social media, please make sure to tag me because I'd love to see your recreations. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.